evening, Cohort 34. My name is Sydney Serrate, presenting on behalf of Team Diversity, which includes John Duncan and Joetta McCluskey. My team graciously allowed me to pre-record my presentation, as I am currently in Europe, and I hope that wherever you are, whether it's Kansas City or elsewhere, you are having a lovely evening. One disclaimer I will give in advance is that I have a bit of a cough. Apparently, my students went out for summer break, as did my immune system. So if there is some coughing going on, I apologize for that. If you forgot what I look like inside of a little box, this is me. We're going to move forward by talking about diversity, specifically in the DEI conversation. And the why of this conversation is due to current discourse around DEI, which stems pretty strongly from our administration. A lot of the conversation is quite divisive, and in public schools, at least 18 states have imposed bans or restrictions on instruction about race, gender, and other related topics of diversity. So it is an important conversation that we are having. Before we talk about the pros and cons, we have some questions for you to consider. Take some time to perhaps write down your thoughts on this or just ponder. Question number 1: should school district mission statements explicitly mention diversity, equity, and inclusion? Should the verbiage and the public information that goes out to community about your district's core values explicitly state that diversity is one of those core values? Question number 2: if a district ensures that all students feel a sense of inclusion and belonging, does it matter how it brands that work? If inclusion and diversity is embedded within your instruction naturally and all students feel that they belong, does it need to be expressed publicly? Or is it possible that by not expressing it publicly, you are alienating a group of students or any individuals that might not feel as though they belong due to your district's statements on such things? And number 3, do all districts need to examine how inequities play out within and outside of school buildings? So are the events that are happening in the public and political commentary going to need to influence schools, or can schools stay steadfast to what they believe in, what they teach, without being influenced by public discourse and opinion? Those are some things to consider. It's difficult to answer those, but as state and district leaders, those are topics that are always going to be important to consider when making decisions. So some of the pros: one of the main advantages of teaching diversity in K through 12 education is that it promotes a more inclusive and representative curriculum. As teachers, we have all heard the mirrors, windows, and sliding glass doors analogy, where mirrors is where students can see themselves, windows is where they can see out into the world and they can see others, and doors is where they can step into real world experiences with appreciation and knowledge. The skills that students learn in school to help them navigate diversity, navigate difference, to resolve conflict, and to be able to converse with people who are different from them, those are all important skills that they learn, and you can't learn those skills without being exposed to difference. By integrating diverse perspectives into course materials, students gain a broader understanding of the world, excuse me, and the integration of diversity can enhance critical thinking and empathy, prepare students to navigate and contribute to an increasingly globalized society, and provide exposure to diverse viewpoints, encouraging students to challenge their assumptions and develop a more nuanced perspective on complex issues. Another benefit of incorporating diversity in K through 12 education is the potential to improve academic outcomes by fostering a sense of belonging among students. I personally work in the Shawnee Mission School District, and belonging is a very important core value for our community because we believe the connection increases engagement and improves academic outcomes for students and increases their mental health outcomes. So, when students can see themselves reflected in their educators and the curriculum, they're more likely to feel valued and supported, which leads to increased engagement and motivation among excuse me, historically marginalized groups, this sense of inclusion through diversity can result in higher retention and graduation rates. So, your more at risk populations are going to likely be able to succeed better in school if they feel as if they belong, if they feel that school is a positive space for them. That seems quite logical. Students learn to work effectively with their peers from different backgrounds, and that's a skill that is a lifelong skill because when you go out into the workforce, you're always going to have to engage with people who are different from you. So, if students have positive beliefs and attitudes about their belonging in school, it creates a positive cycle wherein their behavior will be more positive. Their behavior will lead to better outcomes in school, both academically and socially, and those outcomes will reinforce their positive beliefs and attitudes about their belonging in school. An inclusive classroom provides global academic benefits such as improved critical thinking and higher overall achievement levels for both majority and minority group members. And students who learn to appreciate and support members of diverse groups as children can grow up to be stronger leaders of diverse and inclusive communities. Obviously, when students are exposed to difference at a young age, they'll be less likely to be afraid or intimidated to engage with people who are different from them. This is a significant pro or a significant positive for the next generation as we move into a very complex future that might be greatly impacted by technology and AI. It's my belief that connection, community, and the humanities are going to be so valuable. And part of the humanities is diversity, learning about the genres and the art and the stories and the creation of groups of people throughout history, throughout different parts of the world. Having a broad perspective of the humanities is not achievable if diversity is not a part of your core values as a educational system. Non-diverse classrooms or limited worldview classrooms are at a high risk of othering students who are already at the margins of mainstream society. Since students are at school compulsorily, the onus is on us as educators to put sincere and significant effort toward providing representation of all kids, and if your school is not diverse, to provide tools to help students develop an eye for inclusion in spaces in and outside of school. Excuse me. Teaching diversity fosters creativity. Our final pro for this presentation is about creativity because diverse classrooms encourage problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity. These are important real life skills again. Collaborative groups are an excellent tool for classroom instruction. In a diverse classroom, students bring various perspectives that challenge their peers to think creatively and to collaborate to find an appropriate solution. When students are given the opportunity to work with a diverse group of peers or with topics that discuss diversity, they can confront stereotypes and discover similarities with their classmates. So, personally, I do believe that diversity is not only important, but it is critical in classrooms because maintaining community intentionally by upholding historical truths and working to repair, heal, and grow our relationships with people who don't look like us will be the charge of ours and the next generation. At this time, we will explore the potential negative outcomes of centering DEI in schools, specifically diversity, and John and Joetta are going to take it from here and dive more into the potential cons and then a plan for how diversity can look in our ideal scenario. And I thank you very much for your attention and consideration for this portion of our presentation. Thanks, everyone.